All right, well hello and welcome to the video on building the StEV bot. Let me introduce you to StEV. This is the robot that we're going to build from the new EV3 kit. Because all the pieces are different, the brick's different, the motors have different mountings on them, we can't use the same plans as we did for the old generation NXT Mindstorms bots because they just won't fit. So we designed this brand new that we're going to build today. It's all based off the new intelligent brick. Has two new large motors, and even in the back it uses the medium-sized motor. You can see that there, pretty nice. This motor actuates a lift that goes up and down. That'll come in handy when we're moving pieces around on the arena surface. We're going to get our parts out and start building the new StEV bot. Okay, so here is the StEV bot. This is the finished product. You can see it uses two wheels. It uses the awesome caster ball at the bottom. It's got a lift at the front that's moved by that medium-sized motor in the back. It looks pretty nice. And we're going to start building this, and we'll just do this in a couple of stages. So first, what I want you to do is grab your two large motors, and then we need a combination of beams, connector pins, and a Hasson pin. So what you're looking for are 3 of the white rounded beams, and these are 15 long. You need 3 of those. You need 2 of the gray rounded beams. The length on those is 11. And then you need 4 Hasson pins. You need 12 of the black connector pins, and then 2 of these red connector pins with the axle receiver on the end. On 2 of the Hasson pins, you want to put in, pointing up, 2 of the black connector pins, just like that. The other 2 Hasson pins you're going to leave alone. 2 of these white rounded beams you're just going to leave as is. The third rounded beam, you want to put in 4 of the black connector pins, just like so. 1 on each end, then come in, and then the third hole from each end, they go there. On these 2 gray beams, what you want to do is add 2 of the black connector pins on the first and third hole. And then at the opposite end, you want to put in your red connector pin. The axle receiver needs to go on the same side as the beam, as is pointing out the black connector pin. So what we're looking for are 2 parts that look like this. Let's go ahead and attach them to the motors. So this right motor here, what we're going to do is we're going to take this gray rounded beam and those 2 black connector pins, push in like that. And the opposite is true for the left motor. You're going to grab the left motor, 2 black connector pins, fit right in here, and you're good to go. Grab the Hasson pins with the black connector pins in, and we're going to put them right where the receiver is, right on top of the cord connector with the black pins pointing up. The same is true for the left motor. Got our Hasson pin here, black pins pointing up. They go in just like that. Then you're going to grab one of the free white beams that's 15 in length. You're going to connect those here, like so. The other connection goes in like this. The other white beam with the connector pins are going to be added right in here, just like that. And then the third rounded beam gets put in at the top to hold that in place like this. And we have completed almost stage 1. Last thing we need to do is with the 2 remaining Hasson pins, they go here and here. Let me show you that. And there's step 1 right there of the chassis. Okay, step number 2 of this build requires that you have 2 of the frames. We're looking for 2 rounded beams, 13 in length, 2 of the blue long connector pins. We need 4 more of the red connector pins with axle inserts on the end. And then we're looking for another new piece. This is the steel roller caster. Step 2 is pretty easy. We're going to take the blue connector pins, put them all the way through. On each end of that is going to be one of these frames. And there we go. You can see how the caster is offset to the rear just a little bit. That's okay. That's exactly the way it should be. And they are going to fit at the rear just like this. So this first red connector pin goes there, connector pin goes here. So if we count from the end, it's going to be in the second and sixth hole. Same is true for the opposite end. It's going to go in the second and sixth hole, just like that. And this is our rear caster assembly, and that's step 2. Okay, step 3 of this build, we start building off the intelligent brick. Notice the EV3 logo is down at the bottom. If I flip it over, what we're looking for is 8 black connector pins going in the first and third holes on each end. We're going to take a round beam. This particular one is 9 in length, and this is going on the front end. Going to have a little bit each sticking out from each side. And then we're going to take 2 of the right angle Hasson pin looking things. They're going to go here and here. So what we have is on the logo end, this is the side, this is the receiving end for the sensors. We're going to have the 9 unit beam, the 2 90-degree Hasson pin connectors, and then we're going to leave these open. Okay, I've got the parts gathered for the next step. We're looking for 2 red angled beams, 2x4. We're looking for 2 gray angled beams. These are 3x5. We're looking for 2 of the white double angled beams here. Got 4 of the black connector pins, 4 of the red long connector pins, 4 the yellow half bushings, and then 2 axles, 12 in length. These are the longest axles in your kit. We're going to take a look at the gray angled beam, and in the first and second hole, I'm going to put the black connector pins in, and then to it attach white angled beam. So here's what you're looking at. Same thing with the other white and the other gray angled beam. I'm going to take the angled beam, insert the black connector pins into the first and second holes, and connect it to the white angled beam. And what we have is a pair of opposite arms here. In order to connect those arms, we're going to use our axles. The axles are actually going to go through the long end in the first hole, and the other axle will go through the second hole, just like this. And on each end, we're going to take the 2x4 angled beam and then hold that in place by the half bushings. 1 and 2. Same thing on the other end. We'll take the red angled beam, hold that in place with the 2 bushings here, just like so. Okay, this is where everything starts fitting together. What we're going to do is get our chassis assembly and our rear assembly with the caster wheel. We're going to turn both of these upside down because we want to see these 2 receivers here, and we want to see the caster ball here. These pieces fit right in the slots, and to hold those in place, we're going to use red connector pins. I'm going to hold on to the side with the axle and then push these through. Again, I'm going to hold on to the axle side, push the connector pin through, that holds it in place. Turn it over here. Same thing with the remaining 2 pins. 1 and 2, just like that. This is starting to look like the StEV bot. While I've got this, I'm going to grab the intelligent brick. This, remember, has the 4 connector pins in the back and this assembly in the front. The back gets snapped on to this white beam, centered just like that. And then these connector pins sticking out from the 9-degree piece get snapped here and here. So if you're counting again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 6th hole, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 6th hole here. And what we've got is a pretty strong, sturdy cage. Few things that are left. Let's go ahead and attach the arm assembly. Our remaining 2 connector pins here and here on the front are going to be connected to our angle beam, the corner hole here, and then let's pull it just a little bit, get the corner hole here, and that's just going to pivot just like that. Okay, now we need to put some wheels on. I've got the 2 wheels together, and I've got 2 axles that we're going to use. These axles in length are 7, and so we're going to push those through each wheel. And before we slide these on to the motors, we're going to use 2 gray bushings on the motor side. So I'm going to slip the gray bushing on right before I attach it to the motor, just like that. Same thing here. I'm going to take the wheel with the axle pointing up, take the bushing, push it on the wheel, and then we can attach it to the motor. And just a few steps left. We're getting close to the end. So I'm going to set this down. Okay, for the last step, we're going to need the medium-sized motor here. 2 rounded beams. This white rounded beam is 15 in length. It's the longest one in the kit. This gray rounded beam is 13 in length. And then a few connector pins, 2 of the long blue connector pins. We need 1 gray connector pin, 1 red axle, that's 2 in length, and then the handle. And let's see how this goes together. What we're going to do is grab the medium-sized motor with the receiver. The gray rounded beam is going to come right in the slots, and what we want to do is line it up so that we see 3 holes sticking out. And on the back side of that, we want to insert the 2 blue connector pins, just like that. They're going to be sticking out on this side of the motor. And what that's going to do is allow us to come in here, and when we line up the Hassan pin connectors and the blue connectors, they'll fit in together for a pretty snug fit. And what we want it to do is snap on to where the end is even here and the end is even there. The last few pieces to go together, I'm going to take the gray connector pin and it's going to go on the last hole of the angled beam. Going to snap this in, first hole goes on the gray connector pin, and this is actually the arm that's going to actuate our lifter there just by pulling it. And the last 2 pieces on the robot, going to put the axle in the medium motor and then situate the handle. Axle in goes an axle in and just pushes down. And then the connector pin on the handle goes in the second hole on the beam, and it's a done deal. So here is the StEV3 completed. Okay, so here you have our StEV3. We just finished building this on the table. There is one more thing left to do. So we need 3 of the 25 centimeter cables. The left motor gets connected into port B, left into port B. The right motor gets connected into port A. Our medium-sized motor gets connected into port C, just like that. So we've got 3 connections, A, B, and C, A, B, and C. So that gets the StEV3 build complete. We're ready to go. In the next video, going to talk about starting to program this thing and making it move around. So thanks, good luck with your build.